Lovely to be here, Drew, with you.
Now, this call has been very strategically timed for this evening. And this is our last Zoom call for NeoLife Southern Africa for the year. I know the teams are still going to do plenty of online calls and business over this time. But I just wanted to finish this year's call with something a little bit more special. And I know one of the first events that we had this year was with Anna, where we flew Anna into South Africa was in March, end of February, beginning of March. And that is where we were going to take Anna around the country to come and visit every one of you. And that trip got cut short. We ended up, we did one event with Anna in Johannesburg, and we said, nope, this is not going to work. And we put you back on the airplane, which was a good call at the time. But man, we were incredibly disappointed that we didn't get to have that trip. And so I've strategically, we're ending off the year with a call with Anna. And the call is, the session is called Ask Anna Anything. And a bunch of questions have been sent into me, which I'm going to put forward to you. I don't know if we're going to actually get through all the questions. There have been so many questions, but we're just going to have a little bit of fun. How's that?
Yeah.
And so let's start it. I know there's some new people that are actually meeting you for the first time. Now, so I'm going to ask you just to start by sharing your story in just a couple of minutes. But Anna is one of my most special people. She's been one of the most important mentors and teachers in my life, along with my parents and other people. She is just an incredible cornerstone to this NeoLife family. And she has been in the business for 46 years. Can you believe that, right? And she just has so much to teach and so much to give. So Anna, tell us, where did it begin? And tell us a little bit about your story.
Okay, very quickly. I went to university in London and then came to Italy to stay with my grandparents, and I wanted to see the world. So I became a stewardess, but I didn't see the world. I saw the pilot. Yeah, the pilot saw me, and then he grounded me immediately, So my flying career was very, very short. We started personal production. We produced twice. And so I have a son and a daughter. And at the time, 46 years ago, of course, they were very, very small. I was at home. Roland was traveling around the world. He was meeting people. He was seeing places. He was living it up. And I'm at home with his mother, It wasn't as much fun. And I envied him so much. Anyway, one day, Kathy and Robbie, my kids, they went to kindergarten. And all of a sudden, here I am. I've got half a day free. Now I can go out, look for a job, do something exciting, different, make some money, buy my husband a Christmas present with my own money without having to steal from the shopping, Anyway, so I looked and looked, and you know what happened? The pilot, the co-pilot, was flying with Roland, and he said, Captain, my wife and I have started a new business, commercial business, in our free time. Why don't you and your wife come here? And so, Roland came home and he said, well, let's go and hear what this is all about. So we went to a meeting, and there was this big product display. We're talking 46 years ago. No Facebook, no video, no nothing. Just a blackboard, and this enormous product display, which my husband looked at and became immediately negative. He said, hey, I'm a pilot. What do I have to do with all this stuff, And then he says to me, Ana Maria, it is you who is looking for a job. So that's how it went. We watched the explanation of the business plan, didn't understand one word. The guy was writing on the board with the chalk, and it was all over the place. And in the end, it was strange because I heard my voice saying, to my sponsor. I said, Claudio, I think I want to try this, but I haven't understood anything, and will you help me? And he said, oh, Anne, I will help you. I will teach you. I will tell you everything I know. He says, but you got to consider, I've only been in this business 1 week. 1 week. He didn't know anything. He didn't know anything. I did not understand anything. And my husband, he didn't want to know anything at all. He was just so negative, you know? And that's how I started. Isn't that incredible? I mean, can you start any worse way than that? You know, you can't.
You know, it's whenever I hear that story, what I think of is the power of a decision. You saw it all and you got to make a decision. Either no, I don't want to do it, and your life would have continued on the current track that you're on, or you decide, yes, I want to do it, and you go all in on that decision. And 46 years later, imagine if you didn't make that decision, where would you be today? You know, that's the power of a decision.
That is a question. But you know what? That was not the actual decision that changed my life. The decision that changed my life came a month later, after a month of doing nothing, you know, and not talking to people, not selling any product, thinking, oh, this business will never work. Telling my friends I started and hearing them say, oh, it'll never work. This doesn't work. This, you know, I went through, you name it, I went through it. You know, the whole month was just a waste of time. And so at the end, I decided I was going to not do this business anymore. So what really changed happened at the end of that month. Do you want to know? Yeah.
Tell me.
Well, I went to the president. By the way, the president at the time in Italy was South African. You know, he was South African.
The president of NeoLife at the time.
Yeah. So my love affair with South Africa started right there and then. This guy was my mentor in the end. Anyway, I went to him and I said, hey, I don't want to be in this business anymore. I want to leave. And he says, why? I said, well, I talk to people. Nobody wants to do it. I can't sell products. I'm just no good. I want to stop. And he says, did you talk to your friends? I said, my friends, you got to be kidding, right? My friends are pilots. My friends are architects and engineers, and one is a dentist. I mean, my friends are professional people. They're not going to start in a business like this. And he said, oh, I understand. You have a lot of intelligent friends. So, but now I'm asking myself, you started. Why? Are you the only idiot in the whole group? Now, I went home. I said to my husband, that man, that South African man told me I'm an idiot. And my husband said, why? And I told him, and my husband said, yeah, he's right. You're an idiot. I mean, you know, what the hell? Why can't you do this? Everybody else can. So I went to my room, and this is it, Andrew. This is the point. I'm in my room, and I ask myself, why did I start? Now, big meeting room, lots of music, lots of excitement. Did that do it? No, it didn't. Was it the product? The product is fantastic, but I didn't know the product. Drew, I had never seen that product. I'd never taken it, used it. I didn't know it. So it was not the product, not then, not that night. So maybe it was a marketing plan, the business plan. And you know what? If you had seen the way that guy explained the business plan, you would ask yourself, how the hell did I ever think of starting? I mean, it was incredible. You couldn't understand a word. It wasn't like now, with visuals and you name it. So wasn't the plan, it wasn't the product. And maybe now some people say, the sponsor convinced you. You gotta be kidding. That guy was in the business 1 week. He didn't even know how to convince anyone except himself. I mean, it was ridiculous. So if it wasn't any of these things, I'm sitting there on my bed in my room, and I'm asking this very important question. What made me start? If I can understand that, I can do it to other people. And then it hit me right here, like somebody hit me on the head, And I think to myself, you know what? You started because you were looking. So point one, you've got to be a person that's looking for something. You've got to be a searcher. You are not content with what you're doing, with what you've got. You're looking for something. So that's the start. I'm the looker. I'm a searcher. And what was the next thing? The next thing was, I want to leave a sign. I want to show my husband and my mother-in-law and my kids that I can build something, I can do something, I can get results, And I'm not going to get them sitting on this bed. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to understand the business, understand the product, and start. And that's what the beginning was.
It's such a wonderful story. And what I want to know is how many people are on the call tonight that started this business. And in the first month, maybe first 2 months, maybe 6 months, or maybe even a year, you related to what Anna was saying, where people said you're crazy. People said that wasn't going to work. You doubted yourself. And I just think it's such a real part of the story. A person like Anna, Maria Riccardi, went through that same thing. And so if you're on the call tonight and you can relate to that, because I know I went through that when I started this business, just drop a message in the comments and say, it happened to me, or I know I can relate. Drop us a message. I'm very interested to know how many people on the call can relate to that part of Anna's story. So let's get into the questions. And I'm just going to go through questions in the order that I received them, okay? And the first one comes from a lady by the name of Jackie Cunningham. And now Jackie...
Are they, the ones who ask the questions, will they be on this program, on this call?
No, they won't be on the call. Because it's a webinar, it's not a Zoom meeting room. But I'm going to ask, if I ask you a question, just drop us a message and say, hey, I'm on the call. Let us know you're on the call so people can communicate with you. And we can see you. But I know, Jackie is somebody who I've been following her journey in the background over the last few months. She joined in June this year. Okay, what a time to join the business in June. Straight away, she became a manager. She took a qualified senior manager step in October, okay, and she did well over 2,000 points in November, okay, so she earned over 15% in sales volume bonus in November. And what has fascinated me about Jackie is I've seen her on every call, I've seen her part of every training, I've seen her asking the question, I've seen her participating in everything, and that is what we call all in. And so I just want to start off by commending you, Jackie, for what you're doing. And I just think you have started a very, very exciting journey here. But here's Jackie's question. Hi, Anna. I'm reading a book called The Slight Edge. Okay. And I'd like to know, what small, easy to do choice do you make every single day that you would attribute to your growth and success?
Many, many years ago, I read things that taught me to get up in the morning And I do this, I have done this now for 40 years and I am still doing it. I wake up every morning, and while I'm washing my teeth and combing my hair and getting dressed, I'm making a list of all the things that I have to be grateful for. You know, and they're not big things like my kids, my eyesight, you know, my hearing, my family, my work, my friends, my this and that and the other, my new car, you know. In the end, while I'm getting ready, and this list is a simple list, but it makes me feel so grateful. You know, let me give you an example. About a week ago, I woke up, I did my list, and I felt so grateful. I got my phone and I sent a message to the founder, to Jerry Brasfield. And I said, you know, today I am so grateful about being in this business, about my friends, about my family, about my work. I am really such a lucky person. I just felt I had to share this feeling. Now, what happens is I get out of whatever I do next feeling so positive because I am so grateful. And I will tell you another crazy thing. A few years ago, I went on internet and I heard a speech that I adored. I mean, you can hear it too. It's an American SEAL general, a general from an army general, right? And he conducts the group called the SEALs. And he was making a motivational speech, which was very good. But he started by saying, if you want to be successful, the first thing you must do is make your bed. And I thought that was such a funny thing to say, right? And then he went on to explain how in the army, the first thing they teach people to do is make their beds, and they have to be so perfect and so well done and everything else. And there is a reason behind that, because you start your day by leaving behind something that is already done. It's done. You know what I'm saying? You don't leave and leave your bed all upside down. Now, people say, this woman is totally crazy. What is she saying? Well, I'm saying I do two things. I wake up and I make a list of things that I'm grateful for. And then I make my bed because I've done something that is done, you know, and now I can go out and I'll get on my emails and I'll get on my phone calls and I'll go and do whatever I have to do. But those two things have started me off in the right way. Do you know what I'm saying? Am I sounding crazy to you?
No, I just think that makes so much sense. And you know, I think for anybody in this NeoLife family, a great place to start is to have that attitude of gratitude. You know, and we always say you get what you focus on. So let's start focusing on not the things we don't have, but focus on the things that we do have and be grateful for them while we work towards the things that we want.
That's
and
right.
You know, for me, I heard that army that making the bed story too, and that is a great, you know, success requires discipline, right? And that is just a great simple example of simple daily disciplines.
Right.
Just a lot of people on the call have related to your message there, where people discouraged you in the beginning, which is fantastic. You know, and to those people, I just want to follow that up and say, what made you start? What made you start this journey? What is the reason for you carrying on your journey? And drop that comment in the comment box. If you commented that you have been discouraged, I want to know what was the reason that you started your journey. Just message us. Okay, next question, Anna. And this is from Tumi Maduro, who is a director in the NeoLife family in Johannesburg. I love Tumi. She has probably the biggest smile in the NeoLife family. And her question to you is, Anna, how can I retain customers and distributors?
I think the same thing applies to both. same answer. You know, customers and distributors are people. And when you get to know the people, I mean, by getting to know, that guy, okay, I'll put it this way. I went to a meeting the last time we had a meeting, and this distributor comes to me and he says, I'd like you to meet my new senior manager. And I said, oh, that's nice. What's his name? And the man was a little embarrassed. You know, the name didn't seem to come, you know, my new senior manager. Now, what you say, I have a client. He buys X amount of product from me, but I haven't heard from him for a while. And I would say, what's his name? What's his wife's name? How many kids has he got? You know, what's his business? Where does he live? What I'm saying is that client is a person, and he's got to feel that you know him as a person, not just somebody who orders product, which means that you will write in a little card that you've got a client, and this client's birthday is on such a date. And you might just remember to call him on his birthday, just to say, happy birthday, how are you? In other words, what I'm saying is, you need to create a relationship with a person, not with a client, not with a distributor. You need to create a relationship with a person, which makes the difference. Do you understand what I'm saying? I know it's a bit like cheating, writing down the birthdays and remembering that his mother is in hospital and you're calling to say, how is she? Now, all these things help to create that relationship between you, which makes you a friend, makes you someone that is not just selling products to make money. It goes together with your values. You told that client that your values are to make a better world, to make people healthier, to make a world cleaner. You've told him all that, you know, along the way. And now you are someone that he relates to as a friend, not a friend, but at least someone who is not just attached to the money he makes by selling. I think this applies to distributors as much, even more than clients.
Anna, can I just say something? That when you're talking, this is now for those of you who don't know, I started my distributorship in London, and Anna lived in Rome at the time, and every month she would come to London and she'd work with the few distributors in London, myself, my wife Tanya, and a few other. It was just a handful of us that said yes, we wanted to do it. And you're talking about creating relationships here. And I remember sitting on the floor of your beautiful Knightsbridge apartment, eating pasta and eating pizza and talking about the future. And you just created this community of people, all this, we were all just part of something. And that almost made me bulletproof to the disappointments that we were experiencing at the time, which were enormous challenges and disappointments. But because of the community that you created, I stayed in this business and I was able to get over those disappointments. And so whether it's sitting on somebody's living room floor eating pizza, or sitting around your local coffee shop, or on a Zoom call with your team, building community, getting to know people and building those relationships, I really believe that is what keeps people in this business.
I agree with you. Yeah. We are so much more than just a business. You know, Absolutely. We are a community, we are a family, we are visionaries that share a vision, and that will help us along the way.
And to me, something I'd like to add to that is, you know, if it's very important to know why somebody joins this business or why somebody becomes a customer and purchases a product. And if somebody purchases a product to get more energy, it's very important that you take that journey with them and you help them achieve their goal through our product. If somebody joins and becomes a distributor because they need to make some more money for whatever reason, it's very important that you work with these people in helping them build a name list, helping them invite to the next opportunity meeting or the next product talk to get their first customer and first distributor. Because you know what? If they aren't progressing towards their goals, then they might drop out. And so it's very important that us as the sponsor help them and work with them in achieving the reason why they joined this business in the first place. Okay, next question. This is from Florence Matumbu. Florence and Wilson, you know Florrie.
I know Florence. Hi, Florence. Are you there?
Florence, drop us a message if you're there. Florence is part of our president's team. This is interesting. Florence's business, okay, has grown by 41% over this time last year. Okay,
Wow.
her sponsoring is up in a massive way. And I just think it's just incredible that we have stories like that coming out of our business, especially over this year. And Florence Wilson and their incredible team and their leadership and their team, they just made a decision that they were going to prosper in challenging times. And 10 months down the line, their business has grown, which is a big business, has grown by 41%. Here's Florence's question. You've been using the product for 45 years. What benefits have there been for your own health?
Florence, look at me. I am going to be 78 years old in January, okay? I have more energy than my kids. I remember in London, walking up and down the King's Road with my daughter shopping, and she'd say, Mama, sit down, I'm dead, I'm still going. I have an amount of energy which is totally unbelievable. Even now, I am totally unable not to do something all the time. I am so full of energy and passion. And I really believe that my strength is due to an enormous amount to our products, Last year, I stopped taking the products because some idiot doctor told me, the body needs to rest from taking these things. You need to take some time off, I took some time off and then I couldn't wait to get back on because I miss them so much. You don't realize, you feel it as you go along. This product is my shield, it's my hope for the future. It's my way of continuing to live an energetic, enthusiastic, lively life, and I don't feel old ever.
And we have so many stories like you where people are in their later on in life. Is that the right way to say it?
You can say old, I don't mind.
Life with energy and vitality. How many 78-year-olds can you put on a jet plane and send from Rome, Italy to South Africa? And I know when you're in South Africa, I can put you on an airplane every day and take you from city to town to city to town around the region for 2 weeks straight, get maximum out of you, and then send you back to Rome, and you have as much energy as I do. So they really do work. And just answers coming in here, and I just love the answers, and I want to keep this call quite interactive with people. People saying why they joined this business, and I just think there are incredible stories coming in. I had a dream to change Kanu, I think the name is, a dream to change my life. That's why I said yes to NeoLife. I'm tired of the usual. I want to go far. How many people are tired of the usual? How many people are tired of mediocrity? I think that is just a wonderful reason why to join this NeoLife family. Then we have Melissa Butler, Melissa and Brad, who are just doing the most incredible job and just such wonderful leaders in this NeoLife family, saying, my desire to change my life and my family was greater than any negativity. And I think that's a great, find that balance, find a desire that is greater than your negativity that you might face. I started because of full motion. Some people start because of product. That's a great reason why they start. I needed a bigger reason Okay, market shame. The need was bigger than the reason to be put off. I also wanted to prove a point. Hey, that is awesome. When people say, no, you can't do it, why don't you prove them wrong? I think that's enough motivation in that one in itself. And Tracy Allen says, I was looking for something new to be passionate about. I can relate to that fully.
Yeah.
Absolutely, Tracy. Okay, let's get on with the questions. Next question is from Teresa in Cape Town. Teresa is also an Emerald Director in Cape Town who has a massive, massive heart for this business, which I just love. What is your funniest NeoLife moment that still makes you laugh to this day?
I have a million, and many you couldn't even tell.
I don't believe it.
I was thinking about that. Well, I'll tell you one. This is one that happened. I had a director, and I promised him that I would help him to do a follow-up, just to show him how, because he was feeling like he didn't know how to do a follow-up and get to a close. So I said, I'll come with you, right? And that night, a guest came to the meeting room, took an appointment for next morning, and it was before he was going to go to work. So we had to be there at 7:30 in the morning. So we went to his house at 7:30 in the morning. Now it's January and it's really cold. I mean, it's cold, right? Very, very cold in Rome. So we get to the house, we ring the bell, and the wife says, oh, my husband had to go to work early, so he's not here, so we'll have the appointment some other time. As she said that, somebody came out of the door, so we just walked in. The door was open, we walked in, right? And we went up to the first floor where his apartment was. We rang the bell. The woman opened the door and she said, but my husband is not here. So I put my foot in the door, I put my foot so she couldn't close the door. And I said, oh, well, we came all this way. Why don't we have some coffee? I'm doing this to make my director feel that I'm, I would never have done it if I'd been alone. Anyway, so we walk in, because you do things for others that you would never do for yourself. You know that, Andrew. Anyway, we walk in, and as we walk in, I can see from the corner of my eye, I can see a man in his underwear, in his shirt, just his underwear, naked, except for his underwear. And he is rushing across the kitchen and going out onto the balcony, right? Now we're in the kitchen and we want coffee, right? Oh, come on, let's have a cup of coffee. How lovely it is to meet you. And in the meantime, I keep watching this guy on the balcony, naked.
Now he's not her husband.
Yeah, he's her husband, but he didn't want to meet us. So he told her to lie, Now he's out on the balcony and it's about, oh God, it was so cold. And I can see him, and he starts getting all knotted. He gets, all knotted out and shrinks to the floor in a ball, trying to keep warm, And we're sitting there having coffee, watching him get frozen to death, simply because he was so stupid and so how do you say, cowardly, that he can't say, look, go away, I don't want to have this meeting anymore, And people are so stupid and so cowardly sometimes. They lie incredibly when it would be so easy to say, I'm not interested. Forget it. I don't want to do anything. So I watched him freeze his ass on that balcony. I had my hot coffee. And then I said to his wife, okay, thank you for the coffee. Tell your husband we're very sorry we didn't get to meet him, but you know, you might tell him if he likes, we will come back. And we went. And I mean, the last sight of him lying on the floor on the balcony in his underclothes, you know, it was just ridiculous.
That is a funny story. I had these home meetings. I tell you what, when you are doing business with people, people are amazing, but the people are just wonderful, but they are going to, on occasion, provide you with some funny moments. And I remember doing a home business presentation to a couple in the east of London. So Docklands kind of area in London, but the east of London. And I was with my wife, Tanya, and we journeyed across London. It took us probably half a day to get there and to find this guy's home. And we were doing a presentation to him and his wife in the living room, in the lounge. And I could see where we left our bags by the front door. And his little son, I don't know what age, he was young, but I could see him stealing stuff out of my bag. I think he took my wallet out, my cell phone out, stealing things out of my bag. So when we wrapped up the meeting, we signed him up, by the way. I actually embarrassingly say, listen, I know your son has taken I saw him take it upstairs. And we had to go reclaiming all of our things. Anyway, they turned out to be wonderful distributors too, and they just had a naughty son. But anyway, that nothing we couldn't get over. Okay, next question.
Yeah.
The next question is from Veronica and Larry Took. Now, very interesting story. Veronica and Larry attended our leadership school with Kendra Brasfield last year, maybe the year before. I can't remember exactly. Get this, in the last 12 months, they have doubled their business. They have doubled their business in the last 12 months. They were our top personal sponsoring. They won our top personal sponsoring award at our virtual convention in September, I think it was. Right now, they're actually on vacation. I saw a photograph. Veronica, if you're on the line, drop us a message. If you can, post a photograph. I saw you post a photograph on Facebook earlier today. You're staying in some beautiful apartment on some tropical beach somewhere, taking your vacation that you won for being the top personal sponsor, sponsoring couple. But Veronica's question is this. Please, can you tell us the story about LDC and the swimming pool? While we're on funny stories, it's a good transition.
You know, it's incredible. It's incredible. You do training and you really prepare lessons and everything else, and then people remember the LDC story instead of maybe something else. You know, because this you've got to remember, images stick into people's minds. So you don't want to be too difficult when you speak. You want to be very open and just very simple, and people remember stories better than anything else, you know. Anyway, this was about 40 years ago, maybe more, 43. I was a new distributor. I didn't know very much about the product, but I knew LDC, you know, was a product that would penetrate into water and would help. They showed me like a bowl with water, and they would wash your hands with oil, and then the oil would stay on the surface of the bowl. It didn't stick to the sides. So I thought, wow, that's it. You know, I went straight to my friend who had this big swimming pool. He had this big venue where he had sports events. And I went to him and I said, oh, Antonio, you've got to understand. I think his name was Antonio, I don't even remember. And I said, LDC will stop fat getting stuck to the sides of the swimming pool. And, you know, and then you don't have to clean it as many times as you would, because, you know, the skin, the oil, and all that all sticks to the sides of the swimming pool. So I was so enthusiastic about this product. He said, this is a wonderful idea. And, you know, you put it into that thing that goes and throws the product out like that into the water. And he said, okay, fine. He said, I really love it. how much should I put in? And I thought, why sell him a bottle if I can sell him 10 kilos? You know? So I sold him a drum of LDC. But because I was so stupid and ignorant of the product, I didn't tell him how much to put in. So he put in the whole thing. And you know what happened? Every time anyone jumped into the water, out came bubbles all over, but colored bubbles everywhere, you know. I mean, it was ridiculous. It was so soapy. People were sliding everywhere because it was so soapy. I mean, LDC gets so attached to you, it never leaves, you know. So anyway, this poor man, he had to clean the pool out 2 or 3 times. And, you know, clean an Olympionic pool 2 or 3 times. This happened 43 years ago. And this guy, he was my friend, and he's still not talking to me. You know?
I love that story.
You want to make sure you know what you're talking about when you sell people products.
Yeah, from that simple product LDC, which we all love, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, it works in your pool, but just get your quantities right. It's a fantastic product, right?
Yeah.
Now, next question. Man, I started just checking out the profiles of people that ask questions, and I can't believe what an incredible year it has been for NeoLife. This is from Bonnie. Bonnie, somebody who's very, very close to my heart. I work closely with her. Her business has, you know, she just her attitude is just incredible. Bon, if you're on the line, just drop us a message. Her business has grown by 185% over the last year. In fact, she came second just behind Veronica in the personal sponsoring incentive. And Bonnie's question to you, Anna, is, what do you do? She's got 2 questions. First of all, what do you do in your free time?
Okay, you want the answer?
Yeah.
Okay, I am a historian. That's my hobby, history. And I attach to history not just dates and wars and royal families. Food is history, and words are history. You know, why do we use this word? Where did it come from? So I read a lot about phonetics. I read a lot about food and how it developed. I read a lot about history in general. I'm a gardener. I spend a lot of time in my garden when I can. And I'm a cook. And I cook the whole family because we all live close in this place. You've seen my house, Drew.
I've seen you. Yeah, it's a villa that is overlooking Italy. It's the most amazing. Tell them about your villa. Give people a picture of where you live. I think that's a great thing to do.
I live on a hilltop, and my daughter's villa is on the left. My son is under here, and I'm on top. So we have a garden in between us all, and we're all here. My grandchildren and my children. And so I cook, and today I cook for one lot, and tomorrow I cook for another lot, between one Zoom and the next, you know. And it's fun, and we're together, and it's helping us through this horrible time when we can't leave the house and we can't go out after 9 o'clock at night. So there's all the restaurants are closed. You know, you can only move around the city during the day. But because we're all here, we can eat together and we can meet in the garden and we can.
So it's like, if I can describe it to you, Anna lives in this real, Italians stick together, right? Their family is together in this big property with the various villas and overlooking the beautiful city of Rome. And you're an author, right? You've written some books.
Yeah, because that was my background. I have a degree in literature, and I always wanted to be a writer. And so in between one thing and the next, I wrote a couple of books, but they were in Italian. I've translated one in English. And as soon as I finish correcting it, I'll put it on internet and then you can read it as well.
Right. Okay, let's shift on to a business related question here from Bonnie.
Now,
What
wait a
was
minute.
your
I
success?
want to just complete that answer.
Okay.
I want to tell the people, life is not just work. You don't get up in the morning. You know, I remember we had a speaker called Peter Riggs, and he would come to a convention and he would say, "What do you think about when you wake up in the morning?" And the whole audience would answer, "NeoLife." And then he would say, "What do you think in the afternoon?" And the audience would answer, "NeoLife." "And what do you think when you go to bed at night?" "NeoLife." And he would go, "Shame on you, you know, shame on you." Because life is not NeoLife. NeoLife is there to make our life better. But our life is reading and playing with the children and skiing and cooking and living a life that we try and make it better all the time. It's not work, work, work. It's work to make our life better. Do you understand?
Absolutely.
So I have a very full life over
Wonderful.
and above work.
Great answer, Anna. Great answer. Okay, to shift into a business type question, what was your success ratio with your recruiting? How many people did you need to see to get somebody to say yes?
Well, when I was building, I had a very good recruiting. I had 1 to 3.
So you'd see 3 people and get 1 in,
yeah,
basically.
Yeah. 1 to 3 was always it still is, actually, still is. What the reason is, I don't go out and say, "Hey, would you like to earn more money? Would you like to do another job?" Whatever. I always go out and create a relationship, right? It could be the guy that makes coffee at the bar. It could be the guy that puts my car in the parking spot, you know? And it could be a friend of a friend or whoever. I talk to people, I listen to people, which is different. I listen to people, I create a relationship. I might invite you tomorrow and him in 3 days' time and her in a week's time. It's not bang, bang. When I get to the invitation, I've already have a relationship, you know? Now, today, with the way we work today on Zoom and things like that, one thing hasn't changed. You've got to get people to talk, and you've got to shut up and listen, you know, because we talk too much and we don't listen. By listening, we get all the information we need to do a good invitation. But you don't start with the invitation, you get to the invitation. So by the time you do, you already have a total picture of who that guy is and whether you could sell him your vision. You know, it's not you can sell him product. That comes when he's not interested in anything else, you sell him products. Or you sell him products and you get to get him interested in the business. But it's because you talk and you talk to them all the time.
It makes so much sense. And we always say it's a need-based business. And if you just go straight in with that invite, right, and you don't know what they need or want, your ratios are going to not be so great, right?
Yeah, I would close that into a sentence. I never, ever have sold product. I have always answered a need.
There's a lot
And
in
you know,
there.
you only get to the need if
Take
you
that away and
listen.
think about it. It's true.
Right. You got to listen. You get the need. You give the answer. You answer the need. You bring the solution.
Yeah.
You don't go, this guy said to me, I'm going to my brother's sister, my brother's sister-in-law, who lives at the other end of the city, and I'm going to take products over there to show her. I've never done that in my life, you know? I answer a need. I mean, I will go to the sister-in-law because she said she had a problem, and I'm going to go and try and solve that problem with my products.
Yeah. That's great information there. Discover what their need is. Yeah, if you're talking to a friend who is just battling to get through the day because they have no energy, and you're trying to sell them on a business opportunity, hey, you're barking up the wrong tree. They need a Pro Vitality in their life. They need a NeoLife shake. On the other hand, if you're talking to somebody who's full of energy, but they need some opportunity in their life, and you keep talking to them about product, you're not going to get the result because you're not addressing their need or their want for how you can help them. Okay, here's an interesting product-related type question from Deirdre, who's also fairly new, joined in 2018 as qualified senior manager from Pole, just having really her journey has started this year, and it's fascinating to watch. And it's an interesting question, which maybe you can give some direction on. What are the correct protocols with an illness like cancer? Okay, I know we promote preventative health, but I'd love some guidelines as to what to say when asked about our products and cancer.
Okay, first of all, I tell you what our philosophy is. Our body is equipped to help us get over almost everything. If our body is healthy enough, if the cells of our body are healthy, they can attack other sicknesses and get rid of them, or help us get rid of them. So we work together with a doctor who gives the medicine by making our body stronger and healthier. We help that medicine to do whatever it's supposed to do. I don't have, and I hope nobody has, a protocol for cancer. What we do, we go to a person who has cancer, and we tell them that we have product that can make the cells stronger. Go to your doctor, show him what we've got, and let him tell you whether you can use it or not. Now, having said that, be aware that doctors are divided into two categories: for nutrition, against nutrition. Thankfully, the for nutrition has a percentage growth, which is growing fast every year. So we get help from doctors who believe in nutrition. If we're unlucky, the doctor curing that person doesn't believe in nutrition, he'll tell him not to take it, and this is a risk you need to run. We do not cure. We're not doctors. We prevent. And we don't want to get entangled into telling people not to take the medicine because, omega-3 will help them out of a situation. We need to give nutrition to the cell. The cell will do its work, but don't get into curing unless the doctors agree with it. It can be very dangerous.
Great. Okay, well answered. I'm just going to skip through a few questions here, which I think we have touched on in some shape or form, because we're just running out of time. I'll move on to Mark and Shane Hazel, who are, Mark and Shane from Sapphire Directors in Grahamstown. In fact, they really knock you on stepping up to Ruby. Their business has grown by 44% over the last year.
My God, I can't wait to come over and meet everybody.
Now, their question is this: what do you enjoy most about coming to Africa?
Well, Africa is almost my second country, or my third. I grew up in England. Italy is my home, but I started coming to Africa even before NeoLife. We came to Africa the first time when my kids were 3 years old and 4 years old. I mean, we came and we toured Africa and we made photographs and we did safaris. And I will never, ever forget waking up and seeing that dawn, the African dawn. It was just, I don't even have words for it. And then, of course, a lot of my family, my NeoLife family, Rory and Nola McDermott, they're my family, Andrew is my grandchild. I mean, the people that I have lived with in NeoLife for 40 years, 50 years, so many of them are in Africa. I went to my leadership school with Casper, how do you say it? Well, forget it. I went to my first leadership school with a group of South Africans, and we have kept in touch all the years. And now I'm keeping in touch with the kids of the ones who were at the leadership school with me. I mean, it's like, when I come to Africa, it's like going home. Can you understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Fantastic. And it's Cas Wilsonoch that you're talking about.
Yeah,
right?
I couldn't get my tongue around the name. And now, of course, his son is doing so well, and
absolutely, absolutely, what an amazing family.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just going to finish off with two questions, then we're going to end off, Anna. We're running out of time, unfortunately. But another question, which I just think is good for this NeoLife family, and what do you see in the future that you think we should be preparing ourselves for, so that we are ahead of the wave? A piece of business advice that you'd give for the future generation.
It's funny you say that, Andrew, because we just went through a mid-year, an end of the year meeting with Kendra and Jerry and everything else. And Jerry closed the whole meeting by saying that we need to ride the times. We need to make ourselves interested and learn all these new things, all the things we can use in our business, the Zooms and the internet and all the stuff that is so prominent now. And for me to say this at my age, I am so bad with this kind of stuff, and yet I'm so excited. Look at me, I'm talking to South Africa from Rome, I closed a distributor just the day before yesterday in Estonia. I mean, the world is open to us. We need to sit down and learn as much as we can about these techniques, because I'm telling you, what will happen, and I know for sure, this thing will end, this coronavirus will end. It will leave, like so many other viruses in the past. But we will not go back to doing what we did before. It's absolutely out of the question. We will go back to meeting people one-to-one, and maybe to have a convention with 2,000 people in a room. Maybe we will embrace again and look at each other in the face and smile and maybe kiss on the cheek. We'll do that. And it will be a part of our production. But the main production will still come, and it will continue to come from these technical help that we're getting through all this stuff. I mean, it's just impossible to think that we can go back to doing what we were doing before.
Yeah.
So you need to understand that you need to sit down. I am going to call my 16-year-old granddaughter, and she's going to teach me to do certain things I can't do by myself. But I am so willing to learn, because it's such a wonderful world that we're discovering.
Yeah.
You know, look at us, we're growing. I mean, England did 127% growth in the last few months, you know?
Wow.
And here we are, we went from eating the pizza in my flat in Chelsea, and now they're producing all over the place. We're going to open Scotland and Ireland and you name it, you know, through Zoom and through webinars and all these other things.
Yeah, and I think, go for it. Sorry, Anna, carry on.
No, I think you have another question, because I have something I need to tell you before we end.
Okay. Well, I just on what you are saying is, change is the only consistent in this world. And you saying being willing to learn, I think that is the most important thing, is being willing to learn, because the future is changing. I'm just so incredibly proud of this NeoLife African family. I can't even tell you. Traditionally, we've been a group of people that like to get together. We have fun together. So our events have always been very physical events. And that was taken away from us. And we saw in March and April, when the lockdown really kicked in, where your teams did struggle, absolutely. But it was the teams that were able to adapt. And we've seen distributors pivot and make changes. There was a lack of smartphones. People didn't have smartphones. They couldn't get onto the calls. There's a challenge with data costs. You take a look at Botswana. Anybody on the line from Botswana, I just want to give you a special high five. Botswana has probably the highest data cost rates in Africa, $14 per gigabyte of data approximately. Yet they have experienced the fastest growth in Africa through this year, in Southern Africa through this year, because they put that excuse to one side and they decided to adapt and become part of the change. And to anybody on the call that feels stuck, my question to you is, have you adapted fast enough? And what are you going to do to make sure you make the changes that position you to make success possible during these times? Now, we look at our ordering. A fraction of our orders were done online. Now, as of today, the vast majority of our orders are placed on the internet through Southern Africa. Isn't that incredible?
Absolutely.
And so, Anna, just to close this call off, just anything on your heart or mind that you'd like to close this call off with?
Yes, I have a message that I think is so important. And it's this. Everyone is talking about vision, share your vision, have a vision, create a vision, create your team through sharing your vision. Well, not everybody is a visionary. Not everybody wakes up in the morning and he's got a vision to share. So what should he do? And I heard this and I thought it was wonderful. You don't need to have a vision. You need to find someone who's got a vision that you want to share in. You find someone who wakes up in the morning and tells you what his vision is, and you think, oh shit, that's exactly what I want to do. Yeah. I mean, not everybody was Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King had the vision, and 1 million people decided they wanted to share with that. So if you're not a visionary, if you don't wake up in the morning having everything that you want to tell everybody what you're going to do, just choose a vision that you like, stick your cart to that horse and run with it, And I think this is my best advice of the day.
Wonderful. Wonderful, Anna. Thank you so much. Anna, listen, you are so special. I can't wait to have you back in Africa with us. And so we can see you in person. But until then, we're going to do it very well online. We're going to get you more online more often to work with the team and just to share with us. But to every one of the distributors, I just want to end this call by saying thank you for being such a very special and important part of this NeoLife family. Every single one of you. Every one of you plays a role in this family and are important to this NeoLife family. And my wish and my prayer for you is that you achieve the reasons why you started your NeoLife journey. And you find the resilience, you find the passion, you find the activity, you find the drive to go out and create that success in your life. Whatever that success means to you. This is our last call of 2020. I want to encourage you and your team to keep active together. You know, just before the call started, my daughter came up and said, Dad, you know, there's only 16 days left in December. And my question to myself is, what am I going to do with those 16 days to make sure that this year is great and to make sure that I start next year on the right foot? And number one, I'm going to take time out. I'm going to spend time with my family. I'm going to reset the counters. But what I'm most certainly going to do is I'm going to set my targets, my goals. I'm going to continue to build relationships, and I'm going to put myself in a position to start 2021 in a magnificent way. And so to everybody on this call, Anna, we love you lots. To everybody that is on this call and everybody that's not on this call, thank you for being a part of NeoLife. Go out and find a friend to join us.
Bye. Happy Christmas to everybody.
We want to make the circle bigger. So good night to you all. God bless you all. Ciao.
Ciao, ciao, ciao. Love you, Drew. Love you.
You too, Anna. Bye.
Bye.